Welcome! I am here with Doug Neufeld, who is going to speak with us about the art of receiving. Sorry, I'm slightly late today. I had it crashed for me. I never like to blame Mercury retrograde, but I choose to blame Mercury retrograde this time. or whatever that was. Welcome, Doug. I am so excited that you're here with me.
Yeah, me too. It's,
Especially because it's what time there?
It's 4 a.m.
4 a.m. Oh my God. I am gratefully receiving the fact that you got out of bed so early to share with us all. Hey, Lillian, welcome. I see Lillian is here with us. Okay, let me read your official bio. But before I do that, I just want to share with everybody, for me, it's obviously a privilege and honor to know Doug. We connected in a Facebook group about a year ago, Doug, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And we got chatting, and just really, I like what Doug's he has these nuggets of wisdom that really resonate with me. We're not always sharing the same view on everything, I think. And
that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely, totally. Yeah. And so very, very much appreciate Doug. And I love this topic of receiving. I held a retreat in Ibiza last October, got to meet Doug in person and his beautiful daughter, and that was fantastic. So really grateful that you're here, Doug. So let me read what you wrote here, which is very interesting. Doug, his unique voice was born from an innate fascination in observing human behavior, and later how that is directly linked to belief systems and the anomalies that arise when the two differ. I'm going to ask you already to share that in
what I mean by that is okay. And I just actually I just started writing on this. It's we all talk about mindsets, right? And the anomalies that arise in human behavior, because we could say one thing and think it, but until we feel it, right? So I just started a project called the Feel Set.
Awesome.
It's the alpha omega kind of to the mindset. They need to be together, right?
Yes.
Someone could wear a smile, but they're not smiling inside. So the mindset, so that's the anomaly that I see. Like it's an energy, I guess,
Awesome.
That I feel in people. They're saying one thing, and I don't get that sense.
Yeah.
So,
that's fantastic. Yeah, it's so important to feel it, right? Yeah. Doug will be the first one to admit that any success was reliant on the changes he made within. That definitely resonates. He had to become willing to receive unconditionally, to be open to whatever the universe was offering, open to seeing who he is and loving what he saw regardless. Doug is now ready to share his knowledge with you and is in the process of publishing 2 of his many pieces. That's 2 books, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and invites you to join him on this exciting journey. Let's start with your books, Doug. What are the 2 books that you've got going on?
Well, I've got Receiving Unconditionally, and I have a co-author, Becky Howell. She's a holistic coach.
Yeah.
And then the other one that's finished, and I've just been procrastinating, is a children's book called, well, I guess it's a children's book. There's some adults who like it. It's called You Show Me, I'll Show You. It's a book of homonyms and put in sentences that are funny that kids can relate to. And it's been illustrated. So I found an illustrator in Romania, of all places.
Yeah.
And the third one is called The Nest.
Oh, there's 3.
Yes. That one I'm not too far into. But sometimes when you talk about receiving, if I sit there and try and force one project and there's no creativity behind it, if I just allow the creativity to guide me, then I'll write on one or the other, or it could be anything, right? But instead of trying to focus the creativity, I just allow the creativity.
Right. Interesting.
And whatever topic that is, whatever genre, wherever it lies, that way I get the most out of what the universe offers me creatively, or however you want to word it, right? So
Right. I was watching an author, I don't remember her name, but she was talking lately about some people can do that. She's a best-selling author of several books. And she said that for her, she has to discipline herself and put the time aside several hours a day in order to write. So I think that's important for people to realize, myself included, that there's no right way or wrong way. You have to feel into what works best for you, right? So that works best for you for creatively. Okay, let's zone in on the receiving one. Okay, Lillian and Panina that are here joining us, and some others. Welcome. So receiving. What is receiving? How would you best define it, Doug?
Receiving is, well, I don't know. You know, there's so many areas of it that in our lives that we should be receiving, and we choose not to, either out of fear. We tend to, and I shouldn't say we, because I don't want to do a blanket thing on people here, but I can really look at the way I did it, and then of course through the interviews, but receiving. Oh, geez, that's a good question. Actually, I read that when you asked that, and I was going, "Oh, how am I going to answer this?" And I kind of had it in my head, but I didn't try to map it or prescript it.
It's okay. I mean, you know what you just said so far about when you allow yourself to receive. For me, I didn't get it for a long time, and it's coincidental, totally coincidental, that just this morning I wrote, because I've just been to Paris for the weekend, and I was at the Ritz, which is just amazing. So I'm writing about receiving, allowing ourselves to receive wealth and opulence, and how our mindset, when our mindset is, I'm not worthy, I'm not one of those people, that's not for me, etc. That would be for me an example, I think, of what you mean about not being able to.
It's not about focusing on money or love. It's about just being open to what's there, and it could be anything. It could be feedback. It could be, criticism. It could be unwarranted advice. It could be affection. It could be a compliment. There's so many things that we could receive. Messages, from sources that we deem unworthy or inappropriate even. And I also offer techniques, tangible and kind of a holistic approach to building a receiving muscle, if you will.
Awesome. Okay, let's dive straight in there. We want to share practical tools. How can we become more open to receiving?
Well, okay. I mean, I use this one in one of the workshops, and that is, and it's a true story. It happened to me. I'm a contractor by trade, I guess. And early on in my career, I did this job, and being a perfectionist too. Okay, so and really honing my trade, doing really good work for these people. But there was tensions on the job. I did the job, did it well, finished it, and when the homeowner decided to give me my check, he handed it to me, my final check, and it wasn't short a penny, and he tied into me, and he started just giving it to me. And part of his motive, I could feel it, was to put me in my place, put me down. No, he was giving me the gears about some of the things away. It wasn't about the work. It was about how I was personally.
Okay.
And the arrogance, and there was a whole bunch of things. Okay. You know what? I just shut up and I listened.
Okay. The art of receiving criticism.
And when he was done his rant, and this just changed the whole, him and I still talk to this day. But at that point, he did not like me, and he had valid reasons. And when he was done, all I said was, you know what? You're right. And I received what he said without the emotion. And prior to that, I had been quite regularly, I would leave in the morning and I'd do this little meditation where I put myself in this bubble. Okay, and it's a protective bubble, but it's porous. What gets through is love and messages, but the emotion of anything negative will hit the wall of this bubble and drop. So I can hear the message without it being tainted or without me feeling inferior. And I've received a lot more as a result of that. messages. I think messages are the huge one for me too. People are telling us things all the time, and sometimes it's passive aggressive, sometimes it's cryptic. But if you can sidestep or avoid that negative energy that's attached to words sometimes,
right,
man, you can hear a lot.
Avoiding the emotion, right? So that you can, just rationally look at it and say, oh, I can see why you would think that.
Yeah.
For example, that's a great one to be aware of. That to see that as a gift too, right? The gift of criticism, just
exactly,
honest feedback, and whether we would agree with it or not, but to open our minds to it. That's fantastic. So, how did you get into receiving? Why did this theme come up for you?
Well, I've been told like so many times in my life. I look back when I first started this. Okay, what brought it on first was I journal a lot. You know that. Yes. I'm a journal junkie. And periodically I go back and reread what I've written, just maybe as a benchmark for emotional and physical or emotional and spiritual growth. Right. And I had written one day these 2 words, receiving unconditionally. And that was all that I wrote that day. I thought the muses had cheated me, and I was actually going to erase it. But I didn't for whatever reason. I went back about 3 months later, found these 2 words, and I just, from there, I just couldn't leave it alone. And the 2 words I wrote were receiving unconditionally. Could have been a song I was listening to that morning. I don't know what spurred those 2. And then when I went back and looked at it, in the research, I found myself looking at myself more than anything. And yeah, I've been told how lucky I am. And I hated being called lucky. It takes my part out of it, right? It's like even saying unlucky. Well, I still had a part. And how things would just happen for me without effort. Mm-hmm. And I realized it's because I was open to receiving them.
Right.
Opportunities. And just going for it sometimes.
Yeah. You know? Why do you think you were open to receiving them?
I have no idea what brought me there. There are things that when I look back that I was doing, the bubble thing I was doing, I had somehow innately started, and I didn't do this like from as a child. I did this like later on in life, right? I was seeking without bias, right? Instead of focusing on a specific thing, I was just seeking for whatever.
Right.
And I became open, and I received some tremendous, what a lot of people would call lucky.
Yeah. Can I share for me what I think that is, and I'd love to know your opinion on it, is it's around worthiness, but it's beliefs, right? It's coming back to whether we believe we're worthy of it or not. Do you think that's accurate?
Here's a point, and this is one of them. This is one of the first memories I have of somebody calling me super lucky, right?
Yeah.
I was laying these bricks in as a divider between a driveway and a garden. And I had built the shop, and it's within an inch or 2 or 3 or 4. It doesn't really matter. It didn't matter. So I just placed it, and I built this shop 2 years earlier for the guy. And then I did the sidewalk, and I purposely did it an inch wider because I changed the way I did things. And then he wanted these bricks through the rest of the yard, and he had them. And I dug the trench, and I started putting the bricks in. And when I got to the other end, the last one fit. I didn't have to cut it. It fit like it was planned from the beginning. And he goes, "Are you ever, bleeping lucky?" And I was thinking, no, I'm not lucky. It didn't feel luck, so.
Right.
I was, and receiving is about intuition as well. Trusting, it's about feeling, right? It's not about thinking. It really has very little to do with thinking. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and I've just had those kind of things where I had one person say that, no matter what I do, no matter what happens, no matter how harsh the consequences are, I always seem to land on a pillow.
Yeah. Do you not think that thinking comes before feeling, though? In order to feel something, we have to think something to bring that feeling. Think, feel, act, have.
I think they're equally important.
Yeah, it's not about importance. It's just, which one comes first. do you think?
Sometimes I follow the thought, sometimes I follow the feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm not like 100% with this or anything, right? I mean, there's nothing that's perfect. But when I look back, I can see the mindset or the feel set that was the catalyst in something coming to fruition, if you will.
Right. Yeah. Well, for me, I think because I really believe that we create our own realities with our thoughts. Yes. You're believing, talking about lucky, like I won a green card in the lottery, but I mean, I guess I believed on some level that I was worthy of that, or, well, why not? Yes. Wouldn't that be awesome? And then, that lucky thing happened. And for me, I believe that we create a lot of that through what we believe, through our thoughts, and then feeling very much. We have to feel it as well, right? Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, and I subscribe to that. The thoughts aren't in our head. We don't think up there. Our thoughts are here. And it took me a while to adopt that belief system because I hear it. You hear your thoughts, okay?
Yeah.
Up here, but I think they're formed down here. So I think there's a larger, deeper connection between thoughts and feelings than...
Absolutely. I love that. That's a Doug nugget. Yeah, brilliant. Okay. Why do you believe that receiving is necessary? That was one of my questions.
Well, I mean, if 7 billion people are giving, somebody's got to be receiving. So let's learn how to do it. Let's learn how to do it properly. And that's done. Carl Jung wrote on this, and I didn't know this at first, but he's called them the anomaly, or I have it written down. He's got two names for the feminine and masculine energies, and we receive with the feminine energy. So, and we give with the masculine because there's control in it. So why is it important? Because both energies exist in all of us.
Right.
And it's not about sexual orientation or any of that. Yeah. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, and I don't even know if they're 50-50 or if they're 60-40, depending, right? I have no real view on that. I just know that if the importance of it, because being a whole person to me is acknowledging both energies in me.
Right.
Okay.
The feminine is on the left side and the masculine is on the right side, apparently.
It is?
Energetically speaking, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I didn't know that.
Right, yeah, the blockage in the left side is with your feminine energy, or on the right side.
See, and here's the thing, I do everything left except for right. The irony. I was left-handed in all sports, everything I did, except the only thing I do right is right.
Yeah, and then, I mean, don't quote me on this, but the brain, the right brain is the creative brain, but the right brain apparently controls the left side, and the left brain controls the right side, apparently, but yeah. I remember you sharing a great analogy with me about a jigsaw, like you spoke about giving, if there's...
Oh, yes, yeah.
The analogy. Can you share that?
Yeah, a piece of a puzzle. It gives and receives. There's... that's the only way it can connect or be a part of the big picture, right? So when we accept that, and this is a big part of receiving as well that really helped me. I used to walk around with this grandiose attitude that I was like, not a sense of entitlement, just that I was better than everyone, okay? And what I realized is when I look at a piece of a puzzle, the puzzle can't be completed unless every piece is in it. So they're all equally important. Mm-hmm. Yes, some might just be scattered in the blue sky of the picture, and they're hard to piece in, and their importance doesn't stand out. Like, let's say, the eye of the tiger or something, and you see that, and you can't wait to put it into the puzzle. Yeah, but they're all equally important, right? And they have to give and they have to receive to become part of the big picture. Mm-hmm. So, to me, that's where the importance lies. Is that don't think that we're about receiving self and self-love too. No one's better than me, but I'm not better than anyone else.
Right. Yeah. I think that's a fantastic analogy. And I'm just getting that on such a deep level. And I think it all goes back to beliefs again. If we believe that we're worthy, then we will allow ourselves to receive it. If not, we'll subconsciously block ourselves or sabotage ourselves. So I think it's really important to get curious about if we're not receiving, why that might be. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and we can block that too. We can block receiving by exactly what you just said. Not what did you just say? I can't remember.
Allowing ourselves to receive if we don't feel worthy, if we have a belief for some reason.
Or the belief systems, yes.
Yeah.
If we're rigid in a belief, we choke off receiving.
Right.
And and my experience in this is I grew up, like a lot of kids our age. Whether you're Catholic or Protestant, but you got that rigid view of, hell and fire and brimstone. You almost grew up with a fear of making a mistake in case God's going to strike you down, right?
Right, absolutely.
And when
beliefs that are false.
But there's some people that have that belief system and it's so rigid, they choke off receiving, I think. For me, I wear my beliefs like a loose cloak today. I might change it. I'm not even going to be embarrassed. I believe whatever I believe today. I don't have to do a wholesale condemnation of it. I can tweak it. Somebody might say 500 words or whatever, and I'll go, I like 10 of those. I'm gonna add that to my belief system, right? So my belief system isn't like a complete turnaround when it changes. It just gets little tweaks along the way. But that doesn't happen if I wear it like if I'm wearing it so tightly wrapped. You cut off your vision, you cut off a lot of things, particularly receiving, right? So.
Yeah. It just reminds me, actually, coincidentally or not, I just had a conversation with somebody this morning, and it was beautiful. She's in a relationship where she really is feeling deep love, and there was one little glitch in it, and she was like, oh, but about this issue. And I said, get curious about that, because sometimes if we don't feel worthy of experiencing such great love for some reason, for whatever reason, something that we're carrying, we can block it, right? So it's like, again, we don't allow ourselves to receive that. And it's really interesting. So I was saying, well, maybe you're making that story, your mind is creating that story in order to prevent feeling it fully. So it's fascinating.
Well, right? And I think, a lot of people cheat what they can receive from an intimate relationship out of fear, he or she's going to leave me. They hurt me 3 weeks ago.
Right.
So they're going to keep hurting me. And you know what? It goes to the gift of the emotions or feelings, like I brought up before, right?
Yeah.
We cut off what we can receive just out of fear. You know what? Yeah, there's going to be low points, but experience the high points to the maximum if you can. Right.
What advice would you give, Doug, actually, about that? For somebody who's like, oh my God, I love this relationship and I'm just so scared of getting hurt. I'm afraid to open up more to receiving.
So they don't give 100% as well then, right? And that's a part of receiving 100%. And it'll never happen like wholly, like perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they're connected.
And I'm curious about that, about it will never happen 100%. I do believe that it's possible to, when we're completely free and completely, not codependent anymore, not depending on the other person for anything, then we're free to love. And
I know, but listen to this. If I think I've done anything 100%, I can't experience it in any better than I did before.
Right.
So I don't have the mindset that I think a moment can be perfect, right? But why would I stop there? Why not keep striving, right? I love the fact that nothing will ever be 100% or perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
It says that, well, I experienced this with this person and it was just like spectacular. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe it can be better even, right? So I don't put a cap
How
on.
much better can it get, I think. What do they say? There's a saying, but yeah, I love that. It's like when it feels really good, it's like, I can't remember. But there is a saying like that. It's something like that. How much better can it get? Just expecting it to get better and better, right? Opening up more.
Yeah. So, the intimacy and that whole end of the receiving. And it has to get back to me, I think, how we receive our feelings. and I've told you this analogy that they're a gift, right? They come in a basket,
Right.
and all of them, whether it's you got to take out the four core ones, which are anger. Anger is a symptom of a problem. It's not. It's you're frustrated, you're rejected, you're hurt. We choose anger instead. So instead of receiving the underlying feeling, anger stops us from receiving. Okay?
Right.
But I found in my life, and you know that I'm a recovering addict, right? Drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
And that was to suppress feelings. So what I found was the euphoria I was seeking in the drug it was inhibiting how good I could actually feel. The irony is that because I would only allow myself to go to -2 or -3 on the feelings, I only ever got to +3. So when I let go of that and decided, okay, fine, I'm going to feel all this crap, and allowed myself to go to the -10, it was for the first time that I felt anything on a +10.
Yeah.
And I remember that feeling of gratitude and humility. I don't think I've reached it to that peak since. And that's okay, but that when I allowed myself to go to the depths, they're proportionate, right? And it's just experiencing all your feelings is what it is. It's receiving them all.
Yeah.
You don't have to own them or get caught in it, right? You don't have to sit, you don't have to stay in misery. You don't have to become addicted to misery to think that you are going to have to feel good, right? It's just to allow it when it's there.
Yeah.
After you.
What happens a lot is, and with clients, I see this, sometimes we shut ourselves down or numb ourselves and don't allow ourselves to feel because we're so afraid of the emotion and believe that it's going to come and overtake us, right? That it'll just be too much. And can you speak to that for a moment? And just, any tips or words you give to who's hearing that?
Well, I had a mentor, and she once told me that your feelings won't kill you. They might feel like they're gonna, but they won't, right? And unless you feel them, they won't go away.
Yep, you have to pick them up in order to be able to.
Yeah, and it's like putting these weights on your shoulders, right? It just reminds me of that song by the Proclaimers. I was carrying a weight that I wasn't meant to carry, right? I wasn't fit to carry it. And none of us are fit to carry baggage. And the baggage really to me is just bags full of feelings that I never felt. That's baggage.
Yeah.
To feel them when they come, sure, there's a natural resistance. It's like jumping into cold water, right, in a cold pool or something. I don't think I'll ever get over that, oh, okay, I got to just dive in and force myself, right? But the point is that I've learned that, okay, I come quick, it comes quicker, but I do feel the feelings when and that's the importance of receiving.
And
right?
you know what? When you jump into cold water, it's horrible, but you feel so good afterwards.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And and you always feel good after that. It's like, if you have a good cry or, go feel it, go find a spot that's safe to feel it. Find someone that, isn't going to talk you out of it and say, oh, you shouldn't feel that way or it's unnecessary or blah, 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 right? Don't sugarcoat it. Get it done, and you come out the other side always feeling better. You always do.
Absolutely, and I think that's I'm feeling very strongly about that at the moment. I seem to be emphasizing it to my children. Like, never make yourself wrong for whatever you're feeling. Receive the feeling and allow it because it's there, and
Well, a child is like the perfect example of how to receive feelings. If you take a 2 or 3 year old, and they're my favorite age. I just think they're just absolutely gorgeous. They get angry or they get hurt or they feel like, they feel it. They have a tantrum and then it's over and they go play.
Yep.
Right? They don't avoid it. They don't hold it in and walk away trying to be perfect. Right? They just feel it. They could be in a restaurant. They could be in a store. It doesn't matter. They feel it, and of course, we get older and we don't want to do that in the store. So maybe wait till you get to the car, but, they're the perfect example of how to receive your emotions. Perfect.
You learn so much from them. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So what about the tools again, Doug? Sorry, you mentioned a few tools for receiving.
Well, yeah, I don't want to give them all away until the book's out, but some of the tools. Okay, part of and I didn't do this to receive, but I used to, and I mean giving without part of it's kind of like a circle, right? To get an engine started or to get something cyclic, I can't even say the word.
What's the word?
In a cycle.
Okay.
Right. I was trying to put it. Anyway. So part of it is giving, okay, and giving unconditionally, like without the expectation of feeling you're owed.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and that's really huge. And how I did that, and I didn't do this on purpose. It was all born out of an accident, and that's where some people say I was lucky again. Well, I don't know. I just did it, right? Opportunities come all the time, and if we were open to receiving them, right?
Yes.
I would, and I don't say this because I want a pat on the back or anything. It's an example of one of the muscles that I used to build, or what I used to build the receiving muscle was. I had these gift cards for a coffee shop that I used to buy my workers. So that one guy would go, and it was actually really selfish motive. I wasn't really to get them coffee. It was to keep them more productive. So one guy would go get a bunch of coffees, right?
Right.
The boss was paying for it. But anyway, I had an extra one sitting in my truck one Sunday morning, and I used to go drive and, whatever. And I was in the lineup at this, drive-through coffee shop, and I had this $25 gift card or whatever it was. And I don't know what made me do it. I handed, after I paid for my coffee, I handed it to the window girl, and I said, spend this on everybody behind me until it's gone. And I left. And I did that for years. And some of the stuff that I was receiving in those years was incredible. And it was just because I didn't want, nobody knew, just the lady at the checkout, right? Nobody knew who they got that from. So, and that's part of the key is to, you just not tell anybody, just let it fill you, right?
Right. Awesome.
And there's other ways you can do that. It doesn't have to be a lot. It could be, It doesn't even have to be money,
Right. Just before we move on to that, I just want to emphasize that as well. I think it's so crucial because I learned myself and that when you do believe that you're owed something, it's the greatest prison to be in. If you believe that somebody owes you something, work through it. Anybody listening to this who believes that somebody else owes them something, let go of it because it's you that suffer, right? It's the person who has that belief. They owe me. So, thanks for bringing that up. And you were talking about money.
Yeah. And, money is a part of it, but if that's your focus, I think you close off experiencing other things that you could receive. I don't tend to focus on any one thing.
Right.
And even in my meditations, I talk about just receiving what's there. Right.
Yeah.
I have that one little meme or a little poem kind of thing, right? The one who seeks without bias, abundance he will surely find. For the one who seeks, I can't even remember it now, but anyway. But it's about seeking with an open mind, right? Not seeking specifically, but just as part of your purpose. Part of my purpose is to seek, whether it's knowledge, money, love, and I'm just open to, but when or who or what, I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll come. I just have a faith that it'll happen.
Right. Yeah. I think, I love to say that to hold on to the vision and let go of the how, let go of the means. But, what is it you want? And you want that to feel something, right? To feel happy, to feel lit up, right? And
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about that, about creating your reality then, Doug?
I never specifically, and like I say, people just called me lucky, but I never woke up one day and said, I'm going to be a carpenter. And I actually ended up, it was one of the best creative outlets I ever had.
Right.
For me, it's about, what was your question?
Creating your reality. What are your views on that?
Okay. Well,
I mean, I'm very much an advocate of that. I believe that we can create our reality. I'm not sure what your view on that is, for creating your future.
The key is creating. Okay. And like I said earlier, right? Um, there are some people that are, society just sees them Tiger Woods, but he didn't do it alone. That's number one. Without his father's influence when he was younger, right? He had the drive and he had the talent, like obviously.
Right.
But his father gave him that intangible, okay, a belief in himself. And so for me, about creating my own reality isn't about a specific target. It's about being creative in the moment. Okay. It's like another good example, a really good example would be Wayne Gretzky. His ability to, he didn't specifically go out to say, I'm going to score 6 or 7 goals. He was just creative in that very specific moment where an opportunity came up.
Yeah.
And that's the way I've been, right?
Yeah. Well, just talking about Tiger Woods there, what I think that, he was lucky that he had his father to encourage him and help him with that mindset. And what I believe is that it doesn't really matter what our past is, we can still create it. We can learn and create that mindset and, decide ourselves that, to believe in ourselves, right, in order to create our future.
Well, and to stop the comparing, part of what stopped me from writing or showing my writing was comparing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And when I quit comparing, actually, the creation got better.
Our ego, right, gets in the way of our creativity.
Yeah, so, about creating my own reality, you got to believe in yourself. I think that's the key thing, is that you need a belief in yourself, or you're not really going to create much. And the fear, right? There's good fears, but the fears. I think creating your own reality, that's a good one. I didn't give that much thought.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to. I mean, it's my passion, right? If you ever want help with creating, what do you want to create for yourself for your future? That's my jam. That's what I love to help people guide and decide consciously. Okay, that's what I love, and I'm worthy of receiving that, right?
And I think the people, like, to create your own reality, there's some realism in there, and I know that especially my teenage kids that didn't like to hear this. Well, you're going to have to work for it. But yeah, there's parts of it that it's not just going to fall in your lap to create your own reality, right?
Absolutely. You got to take action. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, sometimes you got to know when to fold them. Kenny Rogers, right? Gambler, right? You got to know when to walk away from a specific avenue, right? And drop it because it's just it's not producing. I think of the importance of the people that we align ourselves with. That's one of the huge ones, right? Nothing entire of itself has any value it's one of my beliefs. The people who you bring on board to help you get where you're going to go. And then sometimes you bring a person on and, well, you know what? They might have served their purpose. It's time to move on, right? And that helps you create your own reality, is knowing when to walk away from.
Well, I also believe surrounding yourself by like-minded people who are going to raise you up instead of negative people. Sorry, just a moment. I noticed my battery is about to go. I'm just doing a plug-in here. So welcome. We have quite a few people. Oh, we had like 9. We've got 6 people watching us right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now I get all nervous.
This is really interesting. Okay, I'm going to have to finish up. But books that impacted you. Final few questions just to...
Yes, I remember. One of the ones that's really Marianne Williamson's Return to Love.
I have it. Yep.
And I know this is nonfiction, but something that really spurred the change in me spiritually was the Celestine Prophecy. It's one of those, the original. I didn't like the follow-ups really. The original one, and these aren't really books, but they're kind of musings by Mark Twain and Oscar Wilde. Not what they wrote so much, but just their philosophies and their wisdom in those little quips. Tremendous. I just love the way they kind of didn't hold back. They didn't give a shit. What they did was they basically very cleverly disguised their sarcasm about society and people, and they actually dove into their dark side. They really exposed the dark side of man, and they were okay with it. Yeah. They had a dark side. They didn't care.
Right. You know, I just read about Oscar Wilde this morning. Coincidental that you mentioned him. I was reading about the Ritz in Paris, and in 1898, I don't know why I remember the date, but he said that he was unimpressed with the Ritz because they had water faucets in the bedrooms. And he was saying, why on earth would you want to have that in a bedroom? When I want water, I call for it.
I know, he's so, yeah.
So, yeah, that was his opinion about the Ritz, right?
That's pretty good. So, yeah.
Funny. Yeah. Okay. Your favorite quote?
I guess that'd be by Gandhi. You must be the change you wish to see.
Be the change you wish to see in the world. Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. And what would you most like to achieve in the future?
Well, it's not about getting published. You know what it's about? To me, it's about sharing what was given to me. Mm-hmm. Right? I've received a lot of things, and they're not meant to, they are of no value if I keep them. And I'd like to share them either via my books, workshops, whatever, right? Yeah. I have a real strong urge to share that.
Awesome. It's like the jigsaw, isn't it? Receiving and then giving it. Yeah.
Yes.
And sharing it here. So I'm really grateful that you're sharing it here with everybody who's watching now and who'll watch the replay. Where can people get in touch with you, Doug, if they want to follow you? You've got a Facebook business page, don't you? Yeah,
I have just through Facebook would be easiest. Messenger, or I have the Shirt Sleeve Philosophers, my pseudonym, if you will, for the memes and stuff. Through there, but I think Facebook Messenger is the easiest. I will always answer that. And if anybody wants to chat.
Follow your wisdom. Yeah, right. Yeah, I highly recommend a chat with Doug. That's where we started out, a Skype chat. But yeah, the Shirt Sleeve Philosophy, we've got some really interesting wisdom. Doug likes to share memes, so I recommend that, connecting there. Thank you so much, Doug. I just want to reminder to everybody, this is Totally Tuned In, my show that every day I like to remind people about the 3 Gs, which is reminding ourselves to be grateful, 3 things you're grateful for, gratitude practice, 3 goals, which is 3 things that you'd like to create in your life, and 3 guiding affirmations. That's something that you believe will guide you towards achieving whatever you want to create in your life. And as Doug was saying, we think with our hearts, so feel it. Make sure that you feel it when you are reciting your guiding affirmations. So that's the daily reminder I like to give people. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Totally Tuned In. I am the promo DiMaggio, full name. I'm here with Doug Neufeld. We wish you all an awesome day, and please share this, and let's spread the wisdom and allow other people to receive that too.
Thanks for the opportunity, Neve.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it. Bye.
Bye-bye.